Am I the a-hole for telling my fiance my daughter has to be on our wedding? Plus update. I, 45 male, have a daughter, Pamela, from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms and we share 50-50 custody of P. She is now 11. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiance, Sandra. Sandra and I and my daughter get along very well. After 5 years of my relationship with S, I proposed. S was super excited and wanted to start planning right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be bridesmaids. She then told me she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with, but I said I also wanted P to be a flower girl. S looked at me funny and then said that she didn't think that P would fit the part. I got angry and told S that my daughter would be in our wedding. S started to become upset and said that the girls in the wedding were up to her and P wouldn't be one of them. I told S that if Pamela wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding. I stormed out and took P to get ice cream. P knows that we're getting married and told me that she thinks that she'll look pretty in whatever dress S decides she should wear. This broke my heart and I decided to text S. I told her that I would be staying at a friend's to think this over. My mother-in-law texted me saying that I am overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding, and I was an ass for saying that I would cancel. So did I take it too far saying that I will cancel? Am I overreacting or just being a good dad? I think you're being a good dad. I think you should be able to have your daughter in the wedding. Small update in the comments same day. Talked to her mom this morning because I wanted Polly to start with her until this was figured out. Her mom said that she hopes it goes well and told me that I could stay with her and Polly if need be. She said that Polly always comes home with nothing negative to say, so we aren't sure where this came from. Now for the comments before reading the update. This is a big red flag. If she doesn't want to include her stepdaughter in her wedding, then don't expect that she will include your daughter in her life. Danger, danger, danger. Edit. Crisis averted. Repeat. Crisis averted. OP's update has been made it known that the danger level S has been handled and kicked out. Thank goodness. OP will be going to Hawaii with his daughter instead. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Bye-bye, S. Can someone give OP the Father of the Year award? Edit. Guys, thank you for your upvotes and award. I am once again thankful and honored. I think the default expectation is that any children of the bride or groom will be included in the ceremony in some way. I would even think it's appropriate to include the child in the vows. Unless the child has behavioral issues that could be disruptive, your fiancé is the a-hole here. Goodness, I get not wanting her to be the flower girl, but the idea of not wanting her in the wedding at all is Disney's step-parent evil. I hope this parent does the right thing. Edit. People, I know that a junior bridesmaid is a thing. That's what I'm implying. I know that there isn't an age limit on being a flower girl, but it is possible that that was the bride's excuse, especially if the ring bearer was young as well. You all are acting like I'm the a-hole when I'm literally agreeing with everyone. Now for the updates. Update 1. Hey Reddit, thank you everyone for all the kind words and suggestions. To answer a few questions, my daughter is not disabled, chubby, or having an awkward phase, braces, glasses. I did ask if Polly could be a groomsman. Sharon immediately shot that down. Sharon is 39. She is the same race as my daughter. This is her first marriage. I tried to answer as many comments as possible. I came home to talk to Sharon today. When I pulled in our driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting in her car. I got out and went inside, tried to avoid talking to mother-in-law. Sharon was sitting at the kitchen table and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question. Why does Polly not fit the part? And why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer was full-on shock to me. She quietly said that I was hoping that after the wedding you could become a holiday visit-only dad. I didn't want her in the wedding so she wouldn't be in the photos around the house since she wasn't going to be around much. I kept my cool, calmly took her hand, and pulled my engagement ring off. Her eyes started to tear up. She said that we shouldn't end the marriage over this and that she can change. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by next week and that she could come by and get them when my daughter wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get her furniture that she paid for. She stormed out and mother-in-law came knocking on the door saying I was being unreasonable. I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3 or 4 times a year. The fact that Sharon wanted to give up part of my custody blew me away. I'm sitting on my couch just in shock. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii. Looks like me and Polly will be going instead. I will update if anything happens. Update 2. Hello everyone, thank you all for the kind comments and suggestions for Hawaii. We went a few days ago and Polly is already having a ton of fun. If you have any cool suggestions, please drop them in the comments. As for my ex-fiance, she has tried to reach out to me wanting to work everything out, saying she only did it because her mom wanted pure grandchildren. I still do not care. If she really loved my daughter and I, she wouldn't have acted on her mother's wishes. Sharon has called my workplace to try to get in touch with me. She has even shown up a few times to try and talk to me, and I've told my supervisor just to ask her to leave. She has gone as far as messaging my ex-wife a few times, wanting to know why her calls won't go through to me. When she caught wind that we were in Hawaii, she was pissed. I'm still close with her brother, and he told me that her and her mom were going to try and get plane tickets. If that's the case, I will likely file a restraining order. Polly has asked what happened to Sharon, and I told her that we come as a package deal, and Sharon only wanted me and I couldn't leave her. Polly understood, but I think she was a little heartbroken. I know this update is small, but it's all that I have for those asking. Final update. I realized I forgot to do an update. Polly and I had an epic time in Hawaii. She's already talking about wanting to go back. Turns out when my ex-fiance and her mom tried to buy tickets, the airlines were sold out. Instead, they decided to leave piles of letters at my door. There were maybe 50 envelopes full of pages about how I need to take Sharon back. I honestly didn't read through them all and discarded most of them. So far, I've coincidentally run into Sharon at grocery stores and gas stations and not paid any attention to her. She attempted to show up at my daughter's meet, the teacher night, but since she didn't have a kid, she wasn't allowed in. From what I've heard through her brother and dad, she already has a new boyfriend and just wants to get back at me now. As far as me, I've got a restraining order on Sharon. I did see the comments asking if I was going to attempt to date again. Let's just say that I took my ex-wife with me to Hawaii and we decided to try again. All in all, I'd say that I don't expect to be hearing from Sharon or her mother again. And my ex-wife has now moved back in with my daughter and I. Thank you all so much for your support throughout this time. Story 2. Updated. Would I be the a-hole for dumping my girlfriend after she ignored my calls and messages and went clubbing while I was undergoing emergency surgery? Original post. I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 22 female, have been together for 5 years. We've been together since high school, and until recently, I've always considered her to be my future wife. I've even bought a ring and was planning on proposing over the coming months. Well, last weekend it was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday. She and her friends booked a private lounge at a club. Obviously, I didn't get to go since 1, I wasn't invited, and 2, I hate clubbing or anything associated with that. I was actually looking forward to spending an evening alone and just bringing Netflix or something. Well, my girlfriend left around 9 p.m. and I just crashed on the couch and watched some YouTube. Well, around 11 p.m., I started to feel this distinct stomach pain. The same pain you experience when someone hits you in the nuts. It wasn't bad at first, and I just thought my body was playing tricks on me, but in the span of about 5 minutes, the pain just kept getting worse until I was basically stuck in the fetal position on the couch. Again, initially, I just thought the pain would go, but then I pulled my pants down, and it felt like my right testicle was going to swell. The moment I tried to get up and grab my phone to inspect whatever the F was happening to me, I just collapsed to the floor. That was probably the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life. Imagine being pelted in the nuts over and over again. I did manage to crawl to the table next to the couch to get my phone. I immediately tried calling my girlfriend, but she declined my call. I then texted her that something was wrong and she should come home immediately. The club that she went to is like a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I just put the phone down and started throwing up because of the pain. After throwing up for like a minute, it felt like the pain started to cool down a bit. And I grabbed my phone again, and that's when I saw her response. She just replied with a, "What is it?" I tried calling her again, but as expected, she just declined again. I then texted her that I needed to go to the hospital now. She then asked for what, and I just replied that my balls hurt. I then just dialed for emergency services. My goodness, you need a new girlfriend. She is so selfish. I explained my situation to the emergency responder, and she asked if there was somebody that could drive me to the hospital, and I stupidly said yes. I thought my girlfriend would be home soon, and she would drive me to the hospital. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance because my balls hurt. After I told the emergency responder this, she then told me that she would call me again in 10 minutes to make sure that I was being driven to the hospital. I then put down the phone and went back to vomiting on her carpet. Again, after the pain went away for a bit, I checked my phone and saw that my girlfriend just responded with laughing emojis. I again tried to call her, but as expected, she just declined again. What is her problem? She texted me that this wasn't the time to be playing games, and then she told me that if I texted or called her again, she would block my number. Wow. I again tried calling her, but she declined again, and when I tried calling her a second time, I realized she actually blocked me. I went back to curling up on the floor, and now I started shivering. At this point, I didn't care about being embarrassed and just called emergency services again and asked for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but the ambulance eventually came and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much of the surgery since I was sedated, but I remember waking up eventually and my right testicle was being stitched together. The doctor informed me that I had testicular torsion, and I was extremely lucky to reach the hospital in time. I could have easily been forced to surgically remove my testicle. I checked my phone and saw the missed calls and messages my girlfriend left me. In summary, she came home from clubbing and smelled the vomit in our apartment. When she saw the vomit on our carpet, she got mad and tried searching the apartment to find me. When she realized I wasn't there, only then did it hit her that I was actually being serious. I just texted her in which hospital I was staying and my room number and then went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and saw my girlfriend sleeping on the couch next to my bed. After she woke up, she started bombarding me with apologies. She thought that I was joking, that I was just trying to ruin their night, etc. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I just kept quiet. I was beyond hurt by what she did, and I wanted to break up with her then and there. Why the F would somebody ignore messages where their partner is begging them to come home? Not only that, she stayed in the club until 3 a.m. and didn't even consider going home to check on me. She did stay with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days, that I was admitted there and did take good care of me, but I was still beyond pissed off at her. Ever since coming home yesterday, I've been wanting to dump her, but at the same time, I feel like she genuinely thought that I was joking and made a mistake. I feel conflicted and don't know how to proceed in this situation. Would I be the a-hole if I dumped her? Am I overreacting? How would you guys navigate this mess? No, I would dump her because she's very selfish. Edit. Just to clarify, no, I never had an issue with her going out in the first place or have ever pulled pranks for her to come home from a night out. And by the way, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm beyond blown away. Now for the update. First of all, I just want to thank you all for the amazing support. It's been quite overwhelming, to be honest. I have so many unread messages, so please guys, give me some time. I promise I'll respond to all of them. First of all, I would like to clear up some misconceptions brewing in the comment section of my last post. No, I have never pulled any malicious pranks on my girlfriend to get her to come home early from a night out or anything. Neither do I have an issue with her going out, as long as she doesn't come home like at 6 a.m. And no, I've never blown up her phone like that while she was out with friends. We usually go out together since we share the same friend groups. Here are mine and her messages from WhatsApp in order since people thought I just texted her my balls hurt or something translated. Me, decline my first 2 calls, her name, please come home, something is wrong. Her, question marks. Can't talk, RN, what is it? Me, tried calling her again, I need to go to the hospital. Her, question marks, what? Me, again tried calling her twice, my balls hurt. Please come home now, something is wrong. Her, laughing emojis. Me, tried calling her again twice after emergency services. Her, I swear, don't bother me again or I'm blocking you. Let me effing enjoy my night out. Me, tried calling her again twice and got blocked. At this point, the pain was just so bad, to try anything with her anymore, and I just called the ambulance. Her next message after unblocking me at 2 a.m. My name. Why the F is there vomit in the living room, and where the F are you? Why is the front door unlocked if you left somewhere? She then went into a full mental breakdown as she realized I was being serious about going to the hospital. Over 70 messages. Yes, it was stupid of me to expect her to drive me to the hospital since she was drinking, but again, in that type of pain, you don't think clearly. I think I needed her more for moral support, and I did it out of pure instinct. Not immediately calling an ambulance was also stupid of me. I was in a lot of pain, but stupidly at the time thought that whatever I was going through would eventually calm down, and driving to the hospital would be better than calling an ambulance. Also, in hindsight, me being embarrassed about calling an ambulance over my balls was definitely also really stupid. The amount of mental gymnastics some of you did in my comments to paint me as some sort of dweeb or emotionally needy person for bothering my girlfriend was truly mind-blowing to me. I promise you, if my girlfriend was in my position and I ignored her, none of you would be defending me. Now for the update. Thank you all for those who wish me a speedy recovery. I'm doing much better now. Not being able to go to work for the next 3 weeks is definitely a bummer. I work for my dad's construction company and my job requires a lot of heavy lifting. I'm also prohibited from having sex for the next 2 to 3 weeks as well. I might have also developed some trauma due to the pain. I randomly get the same sensation again and it's driving me nuts. See what I did there. As for me and my girlfriend, it's complicated, as many of you and my mom told me 5 years is definitely a long time to just be throwing away without having a proper conversation with her. So I did just that. I told her how hurt I felt by everything. I mentioned the following points. Her ignoring my messages and declining my calls. Yes, clubs are loud, but where I'm from, there are smoking areas where you can definitely have a conversation over the phone. Blocking me after I tried calling her. Her not checking on me once, though the club she went to is only a 5-minute walk from our apartment. Her being angry about the vomit instead of being concerned. After hearing that, she got defensive and told me that I could have conveyed my situation better and that she genuinely thought that I was joking. She was drunk and wasn't thinking clearly. She also told me that it couldn't have been that painful and I was over-exaggerating. Oh my goodness, really? He just went through surgery and he was in the hospital. I then told her, yes, I could have phrased my messages better and I apologize for that, but I then described the pain that I was in and told her that I barely had the strength to text her, let alone send her a detailed description of what was happening to me, and definitely couldn't think straight throughout everything. After hearing what I said, she started crying and apologizing for what she did. She told me that if she knew how serious it was, we wouldn't have been having this conversation. She then apologized for her being mad over the vomit. According to her, she was drunk and tired and was just expressing frustration. I then asked her why she thought that I was joking and if she was cheating on me, because this was seriously out of character for her, hence why I immediately trusted her with this. She started crying harder and she looked like I had just slapped her in the face. She told me that she just thought I was being insecure about her being in the club with a bunch of guys, and no, she wasn't cheating on me and would never do something like that. We then hugged for a solid 10 minutes after that. The next part was really hard for me, but I told her I need some space to gather my thoughts and told her she needs to stay with her parents for the time being. She immediately started having a mental breakdown and asked if I was breaking up with her. I told her I wasn't sure and needed time to see if I still trusted her after all of this, and what she did was beyond disrespectful. How could I trust someone with my life after they pulled something like this? I then told her that we were young and this mess was mostly caused by our immaturity. This entire situation was an important life lesson for both of us, regardless if we stayed together. After begging a bit more, she then put her head down and started packing a few essentials. Before leaving, she told me that she would be willing to do anything to make up for this, and that I could take as much time as I needed. And then she gave me a big kiss and left. That was 2 days ago, and this is where we currently stand. I still give her updates on my healing, but besides that, we don't contact each other. I'm really torn right now. I still don't have that trust in her, but her owning up to her mistakes shows that she knows she effed up and is remorseful. This is definitely something out of the ordinary for her, but there will have to be major boundaries and new rules set. I can think of the following. If she blocks me again for anything, Blocking herself ever seeing me again, ignoring my messages will not be tolerated anymore. If she goes out alone again, she has to pick up if I call regardless of the situation. As many of you suggested, having an emergency code like hospital or something would probably have to be implemented. I'm not going to abuse any of these boundaries, but I just want peace of mind knowing that my partner has my best interest at heart, even when she is physically not around me. I don't know. Again, I just want to thank you guys for everything, and this whole experience was definitely an eye-opener for me. Should I get back together with her? I say no, but it's your call, my friend. If yes, would my demands be reasonable, and could I add something more? Would I be the a-hole if I dumped her over this whole saga? Edit. I don't know what happened to the bullet points in my post. Seems to be a weird bug or something. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.